Hello students, in the last video we have seen the types of computer and also the components of computers. Today we'll see how these components work together or how actually a computer works. It's very simple. You know how actually it works, right? First of all, we have to put the information through input devices. It can be like keyboard or mouse, and it just need not be the input devices. If there is a file which has some of the commands in it and you need to put put the information through that or input the information through a file, that is also possible. And it's not just the input device like keyboard or mouse. There are many more input devices like CDs and or DVDs or through pen drive, and before there were things like diskette, all those things. So from all these things we can have the input. So once the input has been put, next what happens? The computer actually processes. During this stage, the computer follows the instructions using the data that have been input. According to the data that has been input, the computer starts processing what it has to be done, what the data has to be done, or how it should be modified. Next is, but after this modification or whatever the changes has to be taken place, that has taken place, then what happens? The result is put to the output system. Again, the output can be your monitor or printer. Through monitor, what we get, we call it as a soft copy, and whereas from the printer, what we get, we call it as a hard copy. And there are so many formats, printouts, the way it has to be printed, all those things. There are so many things, like it could be through documents or it could be through graphs. So all these things come under your output. But when we have this input, process and output, the how does the computer works, or how the computer is given this information, we call that nothing but a program. When the process which has a input, processing and output, the instructions are given to computer through this, we call that as a program. So program, what does it do? It tells the computer in which order to produce the output. So this is how the computer gets instructions and gives the required output. Next is a application of computers. See, these things we know already. Where are the computers are applied, or what is the application of computers? So first thing, let us see the science. See, when we say science, it is used to develop theories or some of the scientific analysis to be carried out, or it can be used even to generate the detailed study of, for example, how the earthquake occurs, or if the earthquake occurs, how does the building is affected, and how are the weather patterns, and how does the pollution affect the weather patterns. All these things are related to science and where computers are used. Next is education. In education, how the computers have been revolutionized, right now we are having this online education through computer, and we are using we could use in libraries, museums, and to simply put, it is just that it is increasing the fun of education, or how actually education can be made a fun thing, or in a creative manner. So that is how it is used in education. And also there are a few computer applications like computer based training and computer aided education and all those, where actually only the computers are used to give the education. Next is medicine and healthcare. This also how in healthcare and medicines we are using this computers. So mainly doctors use computer for what, diagnosing whatever the disease a patient is having, or to make a study how it is been growing up, or how can he solve this problem, or what kind of medicines he should be giving to the patient. And he can also have this study through what that scans and MRIs that are also actually viewed in this computers. So this is how it is used in medicine and healthcare. Next is engineering, architecture, and manufacturing. So in engineering and even architecture, this and even in manufacturing, computer aided designs or computer aided machine drawings are used. There are it's called CAD and CAM, that is being used by the engineers and the architects very widely, because before this came into existence, what people used to do, or the engineers or the architects, they used to draw it by hand and make a design and show it to their clients, and how the design will be looking when they actually build it. But now what they are doing it in a system. Because of doing it in the system, they can also have the 3D view of the system. They just have to make, like, the blueprints, and the actual 3D view of the system will be done. A 3D view of the buildings can be seen. So that is how it's used in engineering and architecture. And also in manufacturing, if at all they have to do a product, they don't have to actually make a model of it, the physical model. They can just show it on the computers by these CAD and CAM. These are the softwares that have been used for engineering and architecture drawings. Next is entertainment. Of course, in entertainment industry, this has been used for mainly for animations, VFX, and special effects, to give some special like voice effects or the sound. All these things are been used in the entertainment. And for communication in the sense that basically you can say email, or you know the what but nowadays we have so many other applications to do just for communications, right? The social media are actually so much blooming. So instead of telephone lines, we can have the internet call, or even we have the video calling system nowadays. So all this comes under communication. Next is business application. So what we do in the business application actually, so it can be like, a real time data, whatever we need to update, it can be done through internet in a business. Where the business, like, business forecasting also can be seen, like how the product is moving, how the product is making demand, or how the people are enjoying the product, or what would be their feedback. All this can be got through computers. And especially the networking of computers helps in um, connecting the employees in a company, or even if the companies have branches in all over the world, the employees can still be connected. So all this how it happens because of the computers. Next is publishing. How book publishing is done, right? So how was it done? Of course, before it was like they used to print, make the pages together, just um, sew it together and bind it and then bring it to the market. But now what we do, we just print on the system. Then if there are any corrections, anything to be like, figures can be added. You can change the fonts. You can do whatever the format you want to do, and you can just publish it. There are, like, softwares like desktop publishing, like DTP they call it as, and with the help of a computer and laser printer, we can actually print these things by ourselves. We don't have to go to, like, if it is a small or a book just for our reference, we can just make it ourselves. And then, which actually required a long labors, like long manual labors, it has been reduced by these computers. Next is in the banking field. Of course, now everything, the banking, whatever system is there, it's how become online banking, right? Before it was just banking. Now it all the terms, all the facilities that a bank provides is done through online. Even right from opening an account to taking a loan to, paying the loan amount, or taking an insurance, paying it, and getting the money, putting it in account. Everything, each and everything is done through online, or actually using the computers. So one of the computers, the mainly used one there is the automated teller machine, that is ATM, which has gives which works 24 hours a day to get the money you want, or to withdraw the cash. And these are actually connected through what computer networks again. So that is why these also become the part of the computer, the use of computer. Then they can even deposit their money in the ATM, that is like deposit machines, and they can put the checks, they can um, get the like they can put the draft through get the draft through computers, then just put it back again in the bank. So all these things again is done by the computers. So these are the applications of computers.